Welcome to Mindful with Minaa, where we explore how mindfulness can enhance your relationships and well-being. I'm your host, Minaa B, a licensed social worker, mental health educator, and author. Through insightful discussions, I will guide you towards self-awareness and self-efficacy, empowering you to effectively manage your relationships, reduce burnout, and be more present with yourself. So let's jump into today's episode. What's up, Mindful community? Welcome back to another episode of Mindful with Minaa. So before I dive into today's episode, I don't know if you heard the news from last week's episode, but I am hosting a very special in-person event this fall in New York City called The Reframe. It is an emotional wellness workshop and a creative gathering designed to help you understand the stories that influence how you perceive yourself, the roles you play, but also doing the inner work of reframing your belief systems and setting new intentions before the year ends. So the event is going to be held on Saturday, November 15th at Luminary in New York City from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. and early bird tickets are on sale until October 4th. So head to the description box where you can find the link to RSVP and learn more. So what makes this event special too is that it's something that you can look forward to, and that's what today's episode is actually all about. I am going to be talking about a concept called joy planning. And I feel that we spend so much of our lives planning for responsibilities, our work deadlines, our bills, our family obligations, but how often do we intentionally plan for joy? The things that bring us rest and nourishment. Joy planning is more than just self-care or taking a break. It's the conscious act of weaving joy into your life as a non-negotiable, not an afterthought. And I want to break down why it matters and how you can begin practicing it. So what in the world is joy planning? Joy planning is the practice of making intentional space in your life for experiences that fill you up emotionally, spiritually, or physically. It's asking, what can I look forward to this week that isn't tied to productivity or obligation? Think of it as meal prepping, but instead of food, you're prepping for emotional nourishment. By setting aside time for joy, you're signaling to yourself, my happiness, my rest, and my emotional well-being matters. So here is why joy planning is important. Joy fuels resistance. Research shows that positive emotions help us recover from stress faster. Joy isn't frivolous, it's restorative. It also helps to prevent burnout. When your calendar only includes work, chores, and obligations, you're most likely going to run on empty. Joy is like plugging yourself back into the charger. It's about recognizing that I have a lot of obligations that's consuming me and it's taking away my energy, but joy is going to be the thing that nourishes me and replenishes me. So this is why joy planning is super important. It also helps to build self-trust. By following through on joyful plans, you teach yourself that you are worthy of prioritizing, not just the people and the tasks around you. I want you to think about how you often sacrifice yourself and your needs because you're always putting the needs of others before you. It could be the needs of your children, the needs of your family, the needs of your partner, the needs of your colleagues, the needs of your friends. And there are going to be times in life where their needs might be a priority, especially if you have a family, especially if you have children, if you have a partner. There is a lot of flexibility and compromise that comes with community. But if every single thing you do is revolved around the needs of others, at some point it is going to exacerbate symptoms of stress and burnout, and it is going to lead you to feel as if you're living a mundane life because your goal is really just figuring out how you can care for the needs of other people versus how are you caring for the needs of yourself in the midst of that. So self-trust is vital when it comes to self-care, when it comes to our emotional well-being, and really learning to strengthen our resilience, strengthen our self-esteem, but also our confidence. And I find that joy really helps to boost that. It allows us to see that we are worthy of being taken care of, and we don't have to wait to do that. You can do that now. Joy planning also strengthens relationships. Planning joy with others, whether it be a friend, your partner, or a family member, even your kids, creates connection and shared memories that anchor you during harder times. So, joy planning doesn't necessarily mean taking yourself on a solo date. It can look like that, but joy planning can look like, you know what, I had a really, really long week. I want to go to the aquarium with the kids. Or I had a hard week and maybe I just want to have brunch with friends, or maybe me and my partner need to go on a date. Instead of waiting for life to happen to you, remember that you have to plan your life. So, examples of joy planning can look like this: setting aside Friday night for your favorite movie and takeout. It can look like scheduling a morning walk in nature before work, putting call a friend I love on your calendar, especially if you realize you have a whole day of meetings, buying yourself flowers once a week, or signing up for a dance class, a pottery class, whatever it is, even signing up for the reframe where you'll work with me and be in a group with other people where you will be able to not just unpack some of these belief systems that you are carrying during our workshop. I'm also going to be helping you build your own memory frame so that you can have a tangible tool to take back home with you. And every time you look at it, it symbolizes the growth in your life. That's an example of joy planning. Understand that joy planning doesn't have to mean booking a vacation or spending lots of money. I think this is how a lot of us have gotten caught up in the self care trap of believing that taking care of ourselves means luxury planning. That's not what joy planning is. It's simple and small things that you can intentionally carve out space for. The key here is not just doing these things when they happen to fit in, it's planning them, protecting the time, and treating them as sacred tasks the way you treat work and your other obligations as a sacred task. So, how can you start joy planning today, especially if you're new to this concept? First, I want you to identify your joy sources. Make a list of activities, people, or experiences that bring you peace, laughter, or even boost your mood and energy. These activities could look like hiking, going to the movies, going bowling, literally just going to the library, for example. These are your joy sources. The next thing that you need to do is schedule them. Put at least one activity into your calendar each week, the way you would a doctor's appointment or a meeting. I always tell people if it's not on my calendar, it's most likely not going to happen, because my calendar is the tool that I use all the time. Whether I'm having brunch with a friend or dinner, or even if I have a meeting, it all goes on my calendar. And as I've gotten older and life has gotten much busier, I find that if I say, hey, this week I want to go to the spa, it's not going to happen unless I'm getting that Google alert to say, reminder, tomorrow at 12 p.m., you have a spa day. So I need to put things on my calendar, or else if I tell myself, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm just going to become forgetful. That's honestly what has happened to me in the past. I just forget that I said, oh, I want to do this thing. And now I'm looking at my calendar and I can't figure out where to fit this thing in, because now I'm super busy and I'm just like, I don't want to add another task to my plate, which is why joy planning, the key word is planning. You have to plan for joy, which means you're going to need to schedule the activities that you want to do. The next thing is you need to protect the boundary. Don't cancel on your joy. Show up for it like you'd show up for your other obligations. Don't say, well, this is for me, so it's easy to just move it out the way. Especially if you, for example, schedule joy planning on a Friday and you want to do something for yourself, and then a friend hits you up and says, hey, I want to come over to watch a movie, or can we do this thing? If you know deep in your heart you were really, really looking forward to your joy activity on that Friday, don't cancel it. Just let your friend know, I'm actually busy on Friday, but can we find an alternative date? Protect the boundary. The next thing I want you to do is reflect afterward. After you do the particular activity, ask yourself, how did that shift my energy? What did I notice about myself after making space for joy? So, as I said earlier, joy is not a luxury, it's a necessity. And when you plan for joy, you're telling yourself and the world, I matter, my well being matters, and I deserve to experience life in full color. It's a way to let people know I am a priority too. I want to be an obligation to, and I'm going to commit to myself to the same way I commit to others. So this week, I want to challenge you to plan just one joyful activity that you're going to do within the next 2 weeks. Write it down, schedule it, and honor it. And then notice the ripple effects that come from choosing joy on purpose. So thank you so much for tuning in today. If this episode resonated with you, please make sure you share it with a friend, but also please leave a review because reviews help boost this show and it is much appreciated. I also encourage you to share this episode and other episodes over social media, in your newsletter, share it with a friend, with a family member so that you can circulate the message of Mindful with Mina and help other people get tools that they need to boost their mental health. And other ways that you can connect with me is by ordering my book, Owning Our Struggles, so that you can continue to learn with me, but also make sure to follow me on social media. All of my links and handles are in the description box. And I also want to remind you that healing and growth isn't just about struggle. It's also about joy. So make sure you take the time to plan for yourself because joy is waiting for you.